Hello and Happy New Year! We are starting out 2021 with a brand new Coco and Crafts class. This month we are going to focus on Forever Fern. And I don't know if anybody else noticed this but me, but it's called Forever Fern and yet I don't see any ferns in the stamp set. Regardless, it does have some beautiful foliage, some really pretty fonts I love, and we are going to use it for several projects. So in your kit for this month, you would have the Forever Fern, Pear Pizzazz, Pretty Peacock, a couple of sponges, and of course your 4 packets. However, this month you will find there is actually 5 packets because we have one bonus project, and we're going to start with this one. So I'm going to put these ones aside. Oh, and you also have some Andes candies. They will be in one of our projects because of course we call this Coco and Crafts, so we have to have some chocolate in there. And speaking of chocolate, I am enjoying some salted caramel hot chocolate. There you go. Ooh, it's still a little too hot to drink though. Oh, that is so good. In fact, that is a mix that I made homemade, and I will put a link in the description to the blog where I got the recipe from. It is so good. So yummy. Okay, let's get started with our first project. Now, originally we had 4 projects planned, and as I was doing it, I realized this is a brand new year. We just started a brand new year, so everybody needs a little desk calendar to start out their year. And I actually don't have a finished project for this because I kind of do. I have this one here, but ours is going to look a little different than this. Yeah, it's going to look a little bit different, but this is the basic idea. You see it's a tent fold, so it'll sit on your desk. So I'm going to show you how we do this, how to put this together. But ours is going to look a little different than that one. So I'm going to move this aside, and I'm going to start out with the calendar itself. Now, you can find these peel-off calendars where you just peel the month by month off. You can find them online, but generally you have to buy like a bunch of them, and I don't need a bunch of them. So what I do is I just go on and Google year in a glance or year on a page, or you can find those 8.5 by 11 that has all the months written on it, and then you just print out one and cut them out. And this one I actually did with sorry, I'm trying to find my clips because I need them. I did with my silhouette. I actually got a design from the silhouette and had it cut it out for me, but you can easily, it's pretty easy to go ahead and print them up and cut them out. You just want to try to get them all the same size. So with that being said, this is how you make it. See, right now all these are loose. Oh, I'm so glad I checked that. That would have been bad. I would have had them sideways. They're all loose here, and we want to somehow connect them at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these little clips. And this is super easy. You can even use this technique to make yourself your own little notepads. And I'm going to put this right here. Okay, so I'm clamped those together. I made sure they're pretty straight on the top. I'm just going to get a scrap piece of paper right here. And you just want to use any kind of tacky glue. Do not use the 2-way glue pen because this stays tacky all the time, and you don't want the top of your calendar to be sticky all of the time. You want it to be dry. So you can use a paintbrush for this. I prefer just to use my fingers. My fingers are actually easier to clean. So but if you don't like that, you can just use a paintbrush, and you're just going to apply the glue across the top of your stack of papers there. Trying to make sure you have some glue on all of the sheets. And just work your way across. I try to keep some glue off of that front. If I get some on the back, not a big deal. The back's going to be glued down anyway. But I try and keep it right across the top there, and you can see. And then wash my hand, wipe the excess glue off first. Wipe my hand off, and then I take one more clip and hold that together, and then I set this aside. Now yours is already glued together. You don't have to do this step. I've already done that for you. It's already glued, ready to go. So I'm going to set that one aside, but I wanted to show you how I did that in case you want to make another one next year. So we have not a lot of stamping on this one. You've got your card base, you've got your easel piece. I didn't have an envelope to put your little flowers in, so they are separate in there. Actually, I may steal an envelope from one of the other projects for yours so that they don't fall out and get lost. Okay, we want to stamp on here. So let's start with this. Now, in all of the previous classes I've done so far, we have had photopolymer stamp sets. This one is a cling stamp set, which means it's the red rubber, and it has the new, well, it's not new anymore, but it has the very, very, very sticky stickers. And you may find that when you first get yours, they are very sticky. Like, if you were to pull this like this, you're going to end up ripping the foam. What I generally do when I first get a set is I use one of these, and this is from Cricut. It's one that they use for, you know, getting the vinyl and stuff and getting things off of their mat. And I would use it to lift underneath and pull off, so that, because I don't have very good fingernails. Otherwise, if you don't have something like this, you do want to make sure you get your nail all the way underneath that sticky before you try to lift up. Now, once you've used the stamps several times, they're not so sticky anymore. They're easier. They will come on and off much easier. It just takes them a little time. When you first get a set, they're super sticky, which is good. That means they're not going to fall off your blocks. But just be aware that if you don't get your finger, like this one, I haven't used this very much. And, oh no, it did come off pretty easily. I have actually ripped the foam by pulling on the red rubber rather than getting my nail underneath the sticker that's under there. Does that make sense? Okay, let's keep going. We want this one. Will it fit on here? It does. And then I think this one here. And then to fill in, we'll use both of these. There we go. Whoop. I'm making a mess. Okay. And we're going to open up our ink pads. We need Pretty Peacock. Let me grab my little teacup to put all my little pieces on so I don't lose them. There we go. Let's stick these on there too. Come here, come here. Alright, out of the way. Now, we're going to start with the Pretty Peacock. And I don't remember if yes, I do want to stamp off. I do want to stamp off. I need this piece again. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. Now, you can stamp directly if you want to. I'm going to stamp on here first, see how dark the color is. Actually, I think I am going to stamp this one direct onto there. And on my card, my white rectangle, I'm just going to stamp one in this corner. And then turn it over and do the same thing in this corner. Okay. And then let's grab Pear Pizzazz. I like to do the bigger pieces first and then fill in with the smaller ones. So I don't think I'm going to stamp off on that one either. I'm going to do full strength. So let's stamp this one here. And it's okay if these overlap. It's going to be mostly covered with our little cutouts, our die cuts. There we go. And stick that over there. Let's see. I think I want this one in the peacock. And do the same one here in a peacock. And then this one we will do in the Pear Pizzazz. Apparently I like peas. We got Pretty Peacock and Pear Pizzazz on this. I didn't even think of that. There we go. So you kind of have a cluster on this side and a cluster on this side. And these are really just going to be in the background, so we're not going to have to They don't have to be perfectly lined up and beautiful, because they're going to be, most of it's going to be covered up. Okay, so now we're going to start assembling and putting these together. So this one here is going to go up in here, and this one's going to go down here. And actually, I'm going to glue onto this first so that I can overlap off of the white a little bit if I want to. I could overlap. If you want to put this in an envelope to send to somebody, make sure your fern does not overlap too far off, or it won't fit in the envelope. But you can go off of the white if you're going to stick it in an envelope. Just don't go off of the peacock. Where's my, there it is. I'm too organized. I reorganized my space a little bit over the holidays, and I'm still figuring out where I put everything. All right. Put this on here. Lay that down. And then I'm going to glue this one down. Now, I don't want to put any glue on these two petals because I'm going to tuck this under there. However, so I'm going to hold those two petals so that I know I can put glue on these, but I don't want to put glue on those two. And you don't need glue on every single leaf. Okay, you can just put some here and there. And I'll put some at the bottom of that one. Alright. And then I'm going to set this again in that corner. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. This time it's these two leaves that I don't want glue on. Which actually, yeah, those are the opposite two. I gotta hold it where I can see white behind it. I can't see the leaves when it's on top of the peacock color. Okay, and then this one is going to go in this corner down here. And you also want to make sure you don't go off the bottom, otherwise it's not going to be able to stand very well on your desk. Okay. And now on yours, you have some of the peel off, the adhesive sheet on the back of your frame. I had already cut mine out when I realized I forgot to do that. So yours has that on it. So all you have to do is peel that off to do this next step. I'm going to have to put a little bit of glue on mine so that it will at least hold down. The calendar will actually mostly hold this down, but I'm going to stick just a little bit on there. And then I'm going to go, see, this is the hard part. When I have the glue, I don't want it leaving glue elsewhere. There we go. Can I get that leaf? I don't know if I can or not. Nope, I'm just going to go with this leaf. Thankfully, you see, I don't know if you can see in the camera, I got some glue right there. The nice thing about the 2A glue pen is once that's dry, I can wipe that off of there. That'll come right off. I don't want to touch it right now until it's dry, otherwise it'll make it dirty and it'll just smear. So I'm going to wait till that dries. Okay, so, and again, you see I have some right here and that's almost dry. You can usually use an eraser and wipe it off, or your finger if it's a small amount like that is, and you can just wipe it off. Okay, so now, not sure if my calendar is dry. Oh, it is. It is. Yay, good. I can go ahead and do that part. Actually, I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to go ahead and fold and assemble our easel part while we wait for that to fully dry. So you've already got a score line there. Just fold it over. Grab your bone folder. Give it a good crease. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Are you ready? Where's my adhesive eraser? There it is. Get the rest of that. It's still not quite dry. I think I'm gonna have to wait a minute until that's fully dry before I can get that off of there. Yep. Okay, I will wait. I'll be patient. Okay, and then this piece here, there are 3 score lines. You want to make it look like a W with the tape on that outside edge. So does that make sense? Okay, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and give it a good score for a good burnish. It's already scored. Then I'm going to use this and pull the paper off one side. And I'm going to, I don't know if you can see, where you want the fold at the base of your calendar. There you go. And then I'm going to fold this down. And this was the easiest way I found to do this, was to take my little tool and hold it and then close it on top. There we go. Now let's see if I can get the rest of that off of there. There we go. Yay! All clean. Okay, and now, before I glue that on, I'm going to glue this on. I had a hard time getting that straight. The offset angles was just messing with my head. So I'm actually going to glue this on first. Come on. Put a little bit in the middle just to make sure. And then what I'm going to try to do is eyeball top and bottom that this is parallel to that. And try to completely ignore the pink. Centered. There we go. Okay, and then this, take those off. And you can just put adhesive across the top, but since you want this to stay on all year long, I'm going to actually put some adhesive in the middle and on the bottom as well, just to make sure it's secured on there. Okay, now to center that on my green and ignore the pink. There we go. Now what I did different on this one, if you notice on here I have the pink leaves and they kind of got lost, that made the frame get lost down here on the bottom. So what I thought would be nice is I pulled in some, I cut you out some flowers from the new hydrangea set. The hydrangea die set. Oh, and I don't have it handy or I would show it to you. But yeah, these all cut out, actually cuts out 9 of these in one shot. So easy. What I'm going to do right now though is give them a little dimension. And I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to use this as my mouse pad. So it's just a nice foamy pad. We actually have a foam pad that you could do this with, but this was close and handy. So I'm going to stick these on my pad, flip them over. Oh, I should have just dropped them on there in the first place. And there is a little bit, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but there is a little bit of scoring. There's a little bit of texture on these. The die already gives you that little scores on there. And I'm just using the back end of my pokey tool. You could use a paintbrush, the back end of a paintbrush. And I'm just going to push. Just push down on them so that they're now cupped. That gives them a little bit of dimension. And then I'm just going to add a few of these. I'm probably not going to use all of those. I may only just use 3. But I gave you extras and you can design it however you want. Yeah, I think I like just 3 on mine. And I think I'm just going to leave it like that. So let me set these aside. And put a little bit of glue where each one is going to go. 1, 2, and maybe right here. 3. And that way it brought that pink out a little bit more. It needed more than just this pink frame. So I think those little pink flowers would be perfect. There we go. And there you have it, our very first, this is a bonus project, our little desk calendar we can keep out and about, keep track of our days. And I will see you next, actually, I will see you Thursday, because we are behind with the shipping issues, and because of this bonus project, we're doing 2 this week. So I will see you on Thursday for the next project. I will talk to you then. Until then, God's love and blessings to you. Bye.